If id Software is the father of first-person shooters, then Monolith Productions is definitely the crazy uncle.
Please be full of hay! Please be full of hay!
I mean that in an endearing way, of course. Monolith have made some fantastic shooting games over the last couple of decades. It's just their games have a unique style that is a lot different from anything else. A perfect example of this is their 2000 release No One Lives Forever for the PC.
Excuse me, I have a very fine monkey for you. Only $20 American.
A comedic spy spoof that takes elements from things like James Bond, Get Smart and Austin Powers. It was unique for the time due to its 1960s setting, use of clever gadgets, stealth gameplay and for having a female lead, which was a first for FPS games. It also takes a lot of elements from other games of its time like Metal Gear Solid, Tenchu Stealth Assassins and Thief. You assume the role of Cate Archer, super spy in training for the fictional Unity, a sort of MI6-inspired anti-terrorism organisation.
I don't think so, sir. I'm fairly confident the man is an imbecile.
Cate is thrust into the limelight when Unity agents are mysteriously killed off in the field by an unknown assailant. On what is supposed to be a routine mission, things go horribly wrong and Cate's mentor is killed.
Bruno!
From there you go from location to location, trying to piece things together as a much sinister plot is slowly discovered. This game has no shortage of locales. You initially start off in the Middle East, then head to Berlin, the Caribbean, Swiss Alps, and even space at one point. Everywhere you go, the world is populated with 1960s pop culture and fashion, albeit heavily parodied, and the music and sound just highlight the period further. Monolith have always had amazing sound and music in their games, and this really is a testament to their amazing audio design. The variation in level design and texture work here is pretty amazing, especially considering how old the game is. You very rarely, if at all, end up seeing textures recycled over and over between missions. One level in particular, which takes place in a space station, features a very distinct Moonraker meets 2001 inspired setting, which is never seen again for the rest of the entire game. I mean, you can be dodging lasers in a security vault 1 minute, before sneaking into a hidden rocket base the next. That level of creativity and the constant changing of environments means that things never truly seem to get repetitive. There are a couple of missions that go on a little longer than I'd like, but they're ultimately not that bad and just require a little bit more patience. There's even a few underwater and vehicle sections that aren't terrible. Usually underwater levels in particular are the bane of FPS games, but in No One Lives Forever they work kinda well, throwing in a few sharks and thugs with spear guns to keep you on your toes. The aforementioned vehicle sections are fun and handled perfectly. Also worth noting how they were able to fit such large levels into the modified Lithtech engine. Monolith have also done a great job once again with the weapon designs. There's roughly 15 or so weapons in the game, not counting the various gadgets you unlock. These gadgets aren't just for show either, they're frequently used in-game. A brief tutorial explaining how to use each gadget usually comes before the mission itself, showing you how in a low-risk environment. A lot of these gadgets have also been fashioned towards Cate's gender, stun gas perfume for instance, or the lockpick disguised in her hair braid. My favourite one is the acid perfume, which is great for taking out a group of bad guys standing together. Furthermore, all the weapons also feature zoom modes and multiple ammo types. Further attachments and modifications can be unlocked or discovered during missions, often hidden in out-of-the-way places. Along with collecting weapons, you're also able to pick up miscellaneous bits of intelligence throughout your missions. You don't actually earn anything for doing this, but they're actually quite funny to read and it's a good addition for completionist types. The main thing that really makes the whole experience so fun is that it is full of genuinely funny content.
Maybe we should throw her off a cliff.
Did I ask for your opinion?
No, but I was just thinking.
I only wish the commissioner were here to fatten the pot.
Here I am.
The characters are caricatures and stereotypes from within the genres they're portraying. There's the evil assassin, square-jawed American agent, bumbling henchman, and the Q-branch-inspired inventory man, aptly named Santa. Everyone in this game is voice acted superbly, and lines are delivered with enough gusto that you never really get too bored during any of the cinematics, though you're given the option to skip them, which is a nice touch. There's a few moments where you can choose between dialogue choices and they have little to no impact on the game itself, but it's nice that you can mediate between the two if you wish. There's also lots of random conversations you can eavesdrop on.
Beer. We supply Harm's entire staff with the finest Deutsch brews.
But as good as No One Lives Forever is, it's still got its fair share of problems. The major issue here is actually the pacing of the missions themselves. The game's antagonist doesn't even show up until well into the second half of the game. For the first act, you're just chasing after rumours and shadows, trying to get to the bottom of things with little meaning. It's a shame too, because the first few areas of the game are really well designed, it's just that they really pale in comparison to some of the later missions. Another major drama is how the stealth is handled. Early on you're given a brief explanation on how stealth works, but then it just kind of throws you straight in the deep end. The concept is that you can peek around corners quickly and then duck back in before anyone sees you. However, this seldom works. Also, even when using silenced weapons, enemies still react and trigger alarms. The only truly silent weapon is the crossbow and the spear gun, though they're not unlocked until later in the game. The very first stealth-based mission is just straight out hard. It's almost like the game doesn't even want you to stay hidden. And when you are inevitably detected, you have to listen to that goddamn siren going off for the remainder of the level. It's like they're rubbing it in your face. There's a few missions later in the game where they force you to remain undetected, and some of these are just straight out glitchy. They're also heavily scripted, and if you do something out of order, then you essentially mess up the coding for the whole level, making it unfinishable. I've had numerous occasions where I've screwed up a quick save for whatever dumb reason and had to restart the entire level. Without sounding like a pleb here, I think it would have been really helpful if they could have put in some sort of radar system just to show you where guards are looking. What they've done in lieu of that is to use a sound-based approach to enemy positions like Thief the Dark Project did. By that I mean listening out for nearby footsteps and doors opening. But in Thief, at least you were given an indication of how hidden you were and you're able to peek out around corners. In this game, you got neither of those. Also, when you are detected, enemies will just come out of the woodwork and rip you a new one. The guns in this game do way too much damage, even on the normal settings. I usually play my games on hard mode, and I had to turn it down here because you literally get gunned down in seconds. This becomes a lot more noticeable in boss fights when you're repeatedly getting your ass handed to you. The funny thing is that the later levels are actually much easier. I think it's because they're more cleverly designed around stealth and offer a lot more options for tackling enemy positions, and it also helps that you've unlocked a larger arsenal as you've progressed. No One Lives Forever is really a notable entry in the FPS genre due to its theme and the introduction of innovative gameplay elements. It was one of the first FPS games to let you swap out different ammo types, and it's got a lengthy vehicle sequence, not too dissimilar to the ones featured in Half-Life 2. A sequel was released in 2002 and it did improve a lot of things that were wrong with the first game, though it felt like more of a homage than a sequel to me. No One Lives Forever is still one of my favourite games of all time, and what I really consider to be Monolith Productions' masterpiece.
I've missed you terribly. Now, where's that damn socket wrench? How'd this goat get in here?
I'm lucky enough to have my original CDs lying around, so I can install it whenever I want and still have a good time. And that, to me, is the hallmark of a good game.
Rubbish! Here, here! You'll feast upon those words soon enough, old chaps.